All right. Good evening. I'm Nick Spitzer, and this is the 2010 National Heritage Awards concert. You're in the right place. And this is Texas Shorty over here. Better known to his mom as Jim Chancellor.
Oh, yes.
How'd you get that name, Shorty?
Well, I was short one time, and I played the fiddle, and so, you know, everything in Texas is supposed to be tall.
Yeah.
He's just a Texas Shorty.
All right. Well, you play a big fiddle. I'll tell you, that sound is amazing. What is that fiddle style?
That tune is Lime Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from a great Texas fiddle player named Bryant Houston, and each fiddler that I got to meet when I was starting, they had their own tune. That was kind of, they owned that tune, and Bryant owned that Lime Rock. The style is now has its label of Texas style. It's kind of characterized by more flowing sounds than the older versions of kind of lots of rhythm in the tunes, and embellishments of the old simple melodies.
Well, you kind of own some of that style. I know you've listened to Benny Thomason coming up.
Benny Thomason was my my hero and my teacher. He was a great paint and body man.
My theory is that all the great folk artists in America have worked on a car at one time or another.
Exactly.
Certainly that's true in New Orleans. And then you've also been a mentor to Mark O'Connor.
Yes, I'm honored to be able to have that credit to my name. I had influence on him. When I was, about 16 years old, we started making some old 45 RPM records. And those records got spread around the country, and Mark heard them, and so he went on to become an incredible artist, not only in fiddle music, but I made an album I was on his album called The Heroes, so I was pretty happy to be called one of his heroes.
But Jim, let's not forget you are a world champion fiddler in your own right, and that's why you're here tonight getting this award. We're so happy. Now tell us about the band here.
All right, my little brother, Robert.
Yeah, little brother. Yeah, that's right, Shorty.
And my lovely wife, Ruthie, on the bass fiddle.
Yeah. Keeping the fiddle tradition right down home here. What do you got for us to continue with?
I want to play a tune that I learned from some Canadian fiddle players, and it's called the Canadian Waltz.
Texas Shorty, give it to him.
Well, thank you so much. I want to play one last tune for you, and this is one that I give credit to my teacher, Benny Thomason, for teaching me. But I'm playing it in an old-time tuning called cross key. So this tune is called the Black Mountain Rag.
Jim Chancellor, Texas Shorty. Good evening. I'm Barry Burgee, and I'm the Director of Folk and Traditional Arts at the National Endowment for the Arts. Thank you. I don't play fiddle, but on behalf of our chairman, Rocco Landesman, and the entire staff of the National Endowment for the Arts, I'd like to welcome you to the 2010 National Heritage Fellows Concert. You know, it was about 29 years ago that Bess Lomax Hawes invited the first group of National Heritage Fellows to Washington, D.C. to perform. She felt that folk and traditional artists deserved a place on a stage such as this, at this beautiful music center at Strathmore in Washington, D.C., that they needed to be heard and to be seen and to be heard from. Bess passed away this past year, and so we're dedicating this concert to her memory and to her vision. When Bess retired, yes, she deserves that round of applause. When Bess retired in 1993, there was a very special award that was given in her honor, the Bess Lomax Hawes Fellowship. And it was to someone who made a significant contribution, as did Bess, to the field of folk and traditional artists, perhaps as an advocate, as an educator, or as someone who carried a unique repertoire. And tonight, we honor Judith McCulloh with that award. So let me bring on our great MC again, Nick Spitzer and Judith McCulloh.
All right, Ben. Thank you. All right, Judy, so glad to have you here.
So good to be here, Nick.
You knew Bess well. Tell us a little bit about
Bess. Bess was wonderful. She had such a quiet authority about her and set a good example of hard work and did that with such joy and confidence that she gave the rest of us faith that if we worked very hard, we might make a difference as well.
And you and she both kind of came together around fieldwork, transcription with the work, that sort of thing?
Yes, we talked often about transcription, actually, when she was just a very, very young girl. Yeah. Her father, the folklorist John Lomax, took her actually into Angola prison. They had no recording machine with them, but he wanted Bess to transcribe the singing of the inmates. And then later, of course, she did the words and music for the book she did with Bessie Jones, Step It Down. And I had also transcribed work songs from Texas prisons and cowboy and coal mining songs and fiddle tunes and all such things. And we would commiserate about how on earth one could ever make sense of what was going on musically and then how to translate it onto paper. Wow. But in the end, I have to say we agreed that the power and the beauty of the music was more than worth the effort.
Okay. And if we move forward into your life, you've been involved in putting things on a page. You have been the editor. A few pages. Yeah. You've been the editor of so many books in the Music in American Life series, University of Illinois Press. Tell me a little about that.
Well, there's about...
Yeah, it's a great series. Want to know about American music? Yeah. Go there.
Well, the idea of the series was to create a portrait of the richness of American music and music in America in all of its aspects and eras and ages and styles and people. And also to show, this was the hidden agenda, to show that there are many different ways of writing about American music, whether it was histories or surveys, bibliographies, discographies, biographies, memoirs such as the one we did of Bess, which I'm very proud of, or religion, style, genre, whatever.
As somebody that's done all this field work, done all this editorial work, and is beloved around the country for, what do you see in the future of folk arts and traditional culture in America?
Oh, I think even just judging from the wonderful artists who are gracing the stage tonight, that folk and traditional arts are alive and well and will continue that way as long as people in local communities, through families and neighbors and friends, which we'll also see some of here tonight, that's right, pass on, maintain that heritage, that oral tradition. And our task, I think, is to seek it out, to find it and pay respect to it wherever we find it, and really pay tribute to this great nation and the richness thereof.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
For your service to this country and help take care of the folk arts. All right, Judy. Give you a little hug here, Judy, before you go. You know, I've been thinking a lot about the distinction between people who work as Judy has as a scholar, a researcher, a publisher, and people from within communities that create folk art, and in a way, there's a similarity. She's published all these things over her life that contribute to America's culture. For Ezequiel Torres, drumming to me is kind of what he does. That's publishing in its own way, bringing to the public your sound, bringing it first to your community and now to the world. The traditional arts are public statements to the communities and beyond. Ezequiel was born in Havana. He came to the United States in 1980. He is a drum maker and a spiritual leader in the Orisha tradition. Please make him welcome now from Miami, Florida, Ezequiel Torres. All right, Señor Torres, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien.
¿Todo está bien?
Muy bien.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Before we hear your group, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the drums that you make. I see you've got one here with you. You'll be playing. Tell me about the drum.
This is a tradition that we keep it in my country, Cuba, for almost 400 years. It's coming from Nigeria during the period of the slavery times. A lot of musicians been caught in this bad thing, but it's a blessing to we keeping this drumming for this day. And this is what we call, again, bata drums. It's coming from a city in Nigeria called Oyo City. It's really popular.
The kind of wood in this drum, what are you making it from?
Oh, well, I use different kind of woods. Use fruit trees, and use precious wood that we have a lot in Miami, and use...
This looks like mahogany to me here.
Mahogany.
Yeah,
right.
that's a precious wood.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what, we want to get to the music in a minute, but we mentioned the orishas. Who are the orishas?
Well, today we're going to perform a workshop orisha, the Ochun, this god of the rivers. Shango, this orisha is a god for the thunder.
Rivers and thunder of the orishas, okay. Well, let's see what we've got back here, see who the folks are. Let's meet your group. Tell us who's who.
We have right here Radamés Villegas, Abor Humila, a famous musician Daniel Chavarria from Cuba, my son Arwan Torres, Prince Manuel exactly,
Talking drum.
and Eddie Todd Anderson, my apprentice.
All right. Ezequiel Torres, give him a round.
Thank you.
Vamos.
Ọ̀ṣun oríyèyé o, oríyèyé o, oríyèyé Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo. Oríyèyé múra o, ọ̀rọ̀ yèyé, òjòrò ìjòyò, Òṣogbo pẹ̀lẹ́ o, nílé àpèjì, ìyá Ìjẹ̀ṣà pẹ̀lẹ́ o, adóyin lọ́rùn, káàrè, lúlé o. Omi o, ọ̀tá o, ẹ̀dán o, àgbá o, omi o. Bá mi jẹ́ yẹ́yẹ́ mi o, olódò orèyè oṣù, ọlọ́mọ yòyò. Bá mi jẹ́ yẹ́yẹ́ mi o, olódò orèyè oṣù, ọlọ́mọ. Kualami Oriye Oyuba, Oyuba, Otite Ogarabarako, Oyuba Gada. Otite Wama Iya, Otite Wama, Oma de Kachile Kualami Oriye Oyuba, Oyuba, Otite Ogarabarako, Oyuba Gada. Ayosile. Chango el hueco si o sain ube Guadalupe ahí no nos para la para che andache el hueco babia la cuenio lodo Cayo si chango e huele okoya e huele okoya chango con socha do en hueco si e huele okoya e huele okoya e huele okoya chango con socha do en hueco si e huele okoya.
Ezequiel Torres, la música de Cuba y Florida, y los Estados Unidos, music from Cuba, Florida, of course the United States, the Batra drumming tradition. We're going to go from the music of the Cuban island to visual arts on the islands of Hawaii. It's been great working with Hawaiian folk. I always love it. Everyone's carrying flowers and perfumey leis to hand out, and that hospitality is infectious. In the Pacific Islands, generally speaking, the skill of weaving natural materials, especially palm leaves, is a revered craft, and the weavings are fashioned into sails for ocean-going canoes and items of clothing, baskets, fine ceremonial mats, all treasured items. Gladys Kukana Grace is a master weaver and respected teacher. We've got some of her weaving students here to show you their hats. You didn't know you'd get a Hawaiian fashion show, did you?
E ho mai kaike mai luna mai e o na mea huna no e ao o na mele e ho mai e ho mai e ho mai.
Well, this is Gladys. Gladys Kukana Grace. Gladys, I'm so glad you made it here this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've come a long way.
Yes.
Have you been having a good time so far?
No.
I'll take that as a yes. It's very nice to see all your students here with all their hats on.
I'm proud of them.
Yeah. And they all did the work themselves.
Yes.
So they must be really good students.
Yes.
Great hats. So, Uncle Frank, your hat.
Yes.
Yes?
It's called the Paniolo hat, the old-time cowboy. In fact, it's being used even today. It's an old cowboy-style hat that Auntie had taught me to do some years ago.
Mm. You called her Auntie?
Yes.
Ah.
It's not something where, in Hawaii, it's respect.
Mm-hmm. And those cowboy folks, the Paniolos, they ride from high in the mountains down to the sea, swim the cattle. That's hard work.
Well, it's hard work, but it's work.
It's beautiful work. And if your hat stays on when you do all that, I think you're probably in good shape.
That's right.
Now, let's meet some of the ladies behind us and hear who they are and what hat type they've got. Can you help us with that, Frank? You can.
Okay. Every design has a name to it. Shirley there, Shirley's from Kona, and the hat that she have on is Pavehi Ku'uipo.
I thought so, actually.
The next one is Eva from Makakilo. It's called the Hilipu.
Could we translate that? Is there a translation for that? Star? Okay.
It's what they call a star design. Mm-hmm. It's one of Auntie's favorite. It's something that you don't get to learn that until you've got good 10 years in learning how to make it.
It'd be a star hat
Your
maker.
101st hat would be the two-tone color.
I got it. Okay. Okay.
Next one is Lola Spencer from Molokai.
And this is my papale anoni with pawehi.
Papale anone with pavehi. Wow.
That is an amazing hat. I love the crown on that one.
Don't ask me. I've been with Auntie for 30 years and I'm still learning.
Okay.
Next is Susie. She have a cup and saucer.
Yeah, I get it, I think.
A sassy hat that I think only Susie can wear that.
A sassy hat. Okay, that's Hawaiian, I'm sure. Okay. Uh-huh.
And who's in the back of me?
Well?
Margaret from Kauai. And Margaret has
Anone, Pale, and Eke.
Anone, Papale, and Eke. Eke is a basket type weave. That's what her purse is.
Nice.
Next, Lynn. Lynn is also from Kauai, and she have on a beret.
Most unusual beret.
A little funky style.
Another Hawaiian word.
And next we have Caroline from Waikiki. Her hat is called a kaimana. And that is also Auntie's favorite hat.
Oh.
Next is Mariko from Tokyo, and her design is called the Eke. Again, it's a basket-style design.
Did you ever think when you started out you'd be narrating a hat show?
No, it was far, far beyond my...
Well, mine too. Could I borrow this hat for a second? Ms. Grace, could you tell us, how do you start on a hat like this?
You have to start from, these are called pico.
Maybe we can turn it to the crowd, yeah. Okay.
Pico, and this is the ipu, that's the black. And this is, the brim is macramona, I think.
Well, we appreciate that you've come such a long way to share your hats, your students really, and their weaving, and thank you so much for carrying this tradition on and having all these good folks that do it.
I love the, I can't say, I wanted to say something.
Well, I think you've said quite a bit with the hats and the students, and we appreciate that.
Can we just quickly show Auntie's hats? And these are Auntie's hats.
Oh, okay, yeah. We got a few others that weren't even on people's heads.
Yeah, these were woven some years ago. It's hats that the museum like to. This is called the Hawaiian flag. When you kind of look at it, it's a design of a flag.
Ah, yes.
And this is a very, very difficult hat to weave.
And Gladys, you made these hats. These are yours. These are your work.
These were woven some 20 years ago.
Beautiful.
This is what they call the flower design.
Let's give these hats a round of applause, okay? Thank you so much, Gladys Kukana Grace, for coming to see us. Thank you, Uncle Frank.
Thank you.
We appreciate it greatly. I'm going to take it. Nice going. I've got a good job. In the early history of the folk arts program at the NEA, it was decided that there needed to be a tour of Irish musicians, mainly to Irish communities here in the United States. And the point was that there were many, many great Irish musicians resident in the United States, were of stellar quality, but they were often unknown outside their community. So the feeling was, let's get this going, get people together. And up to then, most of the Irish music that was featured came from the radio and the press, popular groups from Ireland. That first tour in America was 1984. And what was it called, folks? Who knows? Green Fields of America. Thank you. You're doing great tonight. I appreciate that help. As if I fail, I'm going to count on you to fill in the blanks. It featured a few artists whose names you probably would recognize whether you're an Irish music fan on the first go or not. Michael Flatley was a teenager on that tour from Chicago, now, of course, of Riverdance fame and beyond, as well as Mick Maloney and Donnie Golden, right? All future Heritage awardees and great players, dancers in their own right. The flute player on that tour was Mike Rafferty. He's beloved by all followers of Irish music. Although a resident of New Jersey for the past 60 years, his music is known and appreciated by fans in Ireland as well as the United States. Make him welcome Mike Rafferty. All right. Congratulations, Mr. Rafferty.
Thank you very much.
You don't mind I call you Mr. Rafferty, do you?
I don't mind. You can call me Mike, too.
Mike too?
So long as you don't call me too early in the morning.
I know you're a nighttime man sometimes with that flute. Now, you grew up in a little community in East Galway. What was village life like there?
It was old-time stuff. There was it was the horse and buggy in them days, or the horse and cart, or even the donkey and cart, if you will, in them days.
Yeah.
And transportation was... we used to use Shanksmere. Mm-hmm. You want to know what Shanksmere is?
I would like to know, yes.
Walk.
Okay. We walked everywhere, did we?
Yeah, we walked, yeah.
Well, you had plenty of time to think it all over then.
Yeah, that was for sure, yeah. You could talk to the neighbors, you know, they wouldn't be buzzing by you in a car or something.
Now, how did you find yourself into the tradition of flute playing?
Well, my father taught me how to play. He started me off on the whistle, a little, people call it the penny whistle, but, and I went from there. I was around 7.5 and 8 years old at the time, so...
Now, not every person whose father or relative plays music takes it up. Why did you really take it up? Is there some special something?
Because my father had an interest in me, and he was a great flute player in his heyday. And I had 3 older brothers, but they weren't doing what he wanted to teach them too, but they weren't doing what he wanted them to do. So when I started growing up, I was more of an interest in it, and my fingers were better. Or that's what he was saying.
Better fingers.
They're still
yeah.
fairly good, thank God.
They're looking pretty good right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I've got to point out that this is his daughter, Mary, here on the accordion. Yeah. And while we're on those introductions, let me mention that Willie Kelly is over there from New Jersey on the fiddle. It's great that you've got it going. Now Mary lives in Ireland.
In Ireland, yeah. She moved to Water. She met Donald Clancy. He'd be a son of Liam Clancy, the great Clancy brothers, that brought the music to America. They were the first ones that brought the music to this country, yeah.
This was a
and
musical
she
marriage.
She met up at the Liam's son and married them, and they decided to go over to Ireland.
Okay.
Which was somebody else's gain, but it was a loss to me.
Well, at least you live in a village now in New Jersey, and you get to see Willie a little more often, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think you're ready to hear Mr. Rafferty play, aren't you? Okay. The great Irish flute player, Mike Rafferty.
Excuse me, you got to wet your whistle first. So we're going to play, I'm going to start off with an old air. It's I learned from a gentleman that I worked with in the farms over there years ago. It's called Marcin O'Grady. He was a gentleman, and I couldn't find a name for it, and I asked him what the name of it was, and you can call it after me, so we're going to play it in memory of him, Marcin O'Grady. And, excuse me, we're going to play the Battle of Aughrim. Mary and Willie are going to join me in the Battle of Aughrim. It's a march. Well, it was fought maybe in the 1700s. I don't know who won or lost. I think we lost, but it was before my time.
That's a great kind of line.
Thank you. And we're, excuse me, and we're going, you know, she looked at me, don't forget. And it's a great thing. But anyway, we're gonna play two jigs. The first one is called the Carrow jig. It's a big house in the parish of Banlikill where I come from, and there was a lot of music played in years ago, not anymore. And there were Raffertys that lived in that house, mind you. And the name has been changed now in recent times. Somebody married in there. So, okay, it was a gentleman, of course, and they changed the name Rafferty, which is, well, we have no control over that. So there's so much music that was played that they call it the Carrow House. And then we're going into, the next jig is called Out in the Ocean, and it's got another name as well. It's called Split the Whiskers. So we're going to play them two jigs for you. Thank you very much. So we're going to finish up. We're going to finish up with two reels, and the first one is called The Trip to Parliament. Don't you know, we finally made it. Thank you. And the second one is called The Private Ass and Cart. The ass and the donkey are related. They're both the same, but they call him a donkey sometimes and an ass more times. And he was a domestic animal. We brought a cart behind him the same as the horse did. He did the small shows around the farms years ago, and everybody had him. And he was good for a mile along the road, you know, when you'd be going someplace. And you're going for the groceries, and the groceries were grown on the land over there in my time. But anyway, we're going to play these two jigs, or two reels, excuse me. See, I need somebody. And for you now, and thanks very much. Thank you very much.
Mike Rafferty. His daughter Mary Rafferty Clancy. Willie Kelly. Mike Rafferty. I just love the place names and the stories and surrounding the jigs and the reels and all the old tunes. I like the rigs too, but that's truck driving. Let's not talk about that right now. Kamala Lakshmi Narayanan has danced at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. She's also performed for President Eisenhower, Prime Minister Chow En-lai, and Prime Minister Nehru. More important, though, I think, is that she's continued to not only perform, but to teach students in the ancient tradition of classical Indian dance. Please welcome Kamala Lakshmi Narayanan. Guru Kamala, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You look so beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
Tell us a little bit about your learning Indian dance.
When I was 5 years old, I appeared in movies. And when I was 3 and a half, I started learning Kathak. Ta, thai, thai, ta.
The North Indian dance.
Yes. It was popular in Mumbai. And then I acted in the movies, the Bollywood movies.
1939, your first movie, age 5.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Ram Rajya, and so many other movies.
Tell me a little bit about how you dance. You have to inhabit your characters. You played the consort of Krishna, Radha.
Krishna and Radha.
Yeah. It has to be them, not you.
Yes. You have to act like Krishna, act like Radha.
Now, over here we have a couple of photographs. Who are these folks?
This is my Guruji, Kattamanar Kovil, Muthukumara Pillai. And the other Guruji is Vazhavur Ramaya Pillai. They are having their centennial year now.
And these are teachers of yours?
Yes.
After World War II, you moved to southern India.
And
you take up the dance tradition there.
Bharatanatyam, yes.
Okay. And how is that different from the northern Kathak?
Very much. Bharatanatyam, we have to half sit like this, do the movements. And in Kathak, sorry.
I got to be careful around you.
Yeah.
No. Stay close, please. The elements of Bharatanatyam, the Nrita?
There are 3 elements. First is called Nritta, which is pure dancing, just rhythmic movements.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Nice. And then the facial gestures are also important.
The second is Nritya, which has the expression of the face and the hands to tell a rhythm, to tell a story. And there are Navarasa in the Nritya. And the third is drama, Nataka.
That's the actual.
That's why it's called Natyam.
Telling of the story. Okay.
That's a story.
Now, before we see the dance and hear more of the music, let's talk about the rasas, the emotions.
Rasas, the 9 emotions.
And why don't I say them in English? You give us Sanskrit and the look.
Sure.
Okay. So the first one would be love.
Sringara.
Oh yeah. Valor.
Valor. Veeram.
pulling the bow. Compassion.
Karuna.
Wonder.
Adbhutam.
That leads us well to laughter.
Hasyam.
Fear.
Fear. Bhayam. Bhayanakam.
Hatred.
Bibhatsam.
Disgust.
Raudram.
Anger.
And Shantam.
My favorite. Peace. Yes, indeed. We'll be seeing the Ilana performed by two senior students of Guru Kamala Rubika and Puja Ayer. Let's watch and hear them dance.
Yes. Thank you.
Give her a round of applause, please.
Thim tanana tom tadara dani nadar de tom nadi de tom de tilla nadar de thim tanana tom vadana made virisene vadana made virisene adhara made morisene vadana made
The Iyer sisters, Rubika and Pooja. Our singer, Neela Ramanuja. Mridangam, BP Harib Babu. Flute, Vivek Krishna. And Morsing Ines Manjunat. Thanks also to Uma Dandapani, all in support of Kamala Lakshmi Narayanan. Beautiful, just beautiful. Well, I don't believe I have to tell you that Washington, D.C. is a bluegrass town. And when I see the Indian dance and I think about bluegrass, I'm reminded of the great reality that virtuosity comes in many forms. Those of you who listen to my show, American Roots, on WAMU HD2, know that it's the Bluegrass Country channel over there, so I'm happy to be surrounded by the bluegrass. For the fans and a younger generation of listeners who've been exposed to the music, they say that Del McCoury needs no introduction. So I'm thinking, well, what the heck? Why am I here? Maybe we should just leave it like that and see how Del does. You know, he's got a good sense of humor. But actually, I would like to see him one more time. I really like Del a whole lot. Make him welcome, Del McCoury. Yeah.
Hey, Nick.
All right.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
All right. Good to see you
You
tonight.
too.
Great audience, huh?
Oh, they're fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, Dale, you always look so good. You got what's the suit you got on here?
This is another Manuel.
Another Manuel.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a Manuel last night too, I think, didn't you?
Different one.
Oh yeah, it was a different one. You got some nice spangles on there. I mean, I look like an Undertaker compared to you, man.
Well, I like yours though. Yeah, that's subtle, buddy.
That's subtle.
I love it.
Did you say baby?
Buddy.
Oh, buddy. I've been in New Orleans too long. Baby's right in New Orleans, but buddy's right in Bluegrass. You're
Probably
right.
So.
Okay, we kid around a lot, and we're going to do a little of that.
Sure.
But I've got a big question for you.
Okay.
And I think you know what it is.
Is it a surprise?
It is a surprise, but you know what?
I like surprises.
I know you do, but you know what? We're going to hold that surprise for one song now.
Okay.
Now you're going to have to think about it a little bit. Who we got over here on the band?
All right, starting at that end is Jason Carter on the fiddle. Yeah. And I know these two guys in the middle real well. Ronnie McCoury on the mandolin.
All right.
And singing with me tonight.
Excellent.
And Rob McCoury playing the five, we call it, 5-string banjo.
All right.
Alan Bartram on the bass.
And Dale McCoury. Make him all welcome for some great Washington Bluegrass tonight.
Said Red Molly to James, that's a fine motorbike. A girl could feel special on any such light. Said James to Red Molly, my hat's off to you. It's a Vincent Black Lightning 1952. And I've seen you at the corners and cafes, it seems. Red hair and black leather, my favorite color scheme. And he pulled her on behind and down to Knoxville they did ride. Said James to Red Molly, here's a ring for your right hand. But I'll tell you in earnest, I'm a dangerous man. I fought with the law since I was 17. I robbed many a man to get my Vincent machine. Now I'm 21 years, I might make 22, and I don't mind dying but for the love of you. And if fate should break my stride, then I'll give you my Vincent to ride. For they've taken young James 80 for armed robbery. Shotgun blast hit his chest, left nothing inside. Come down Red Molly to his dying bedside. When she came to the hospital, there wasn't much left. He was running out of road, he was running out of breath. But he smiled, she cried, said, I'll give you my Vincent to ride. And James, in my opinion, there's nothing in this world beats a 52 Vincent and a red-headed girl. Now Nortons and Indians and Greaves won't do. Oh, they don't have a soul like a Vincent 52. And he reached for her hand and he slipped her the keys. Said, I don't have any further use for these. I see angels on aerials in leather and chrome, swooping down from heaven to carry me home. And he gave her one last kiss and died. And he gave her his Vincent to ride. Thank you, folks. You know, this is a great theater here at the Strathmore, isn't it? I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful place. And I'm really honored and pleased to be one of the fellows at the thing here tonight. I forgot my pen. I left my pen at home. I think my wife knows where it's at, but I forgot it tonight. I'd like to sing a song now that I wrote one time and get these guys to help me and get Ronnie to help me sing it. It's one entitled, I Feel the Blues Moving In. I thought our love would strengthen as it has so many times before. But something has happened. I can see it in your writing. I can tell my world is crumbling and the blues are at my door. The last letter that she wrote was on a blue piece of paper. That old feeling's back, the clouds are moving in. The beginning of the end is near. I feel love is faded into darkness. It seems I have no friend. I feel the blues moving in. The word you wrote that made me sad, broken-hearted, and put me in the sad shape I'm in. Between the lines and mixed emotion, and there teardrops on the paper, and you said it's all alright today. I'll close for now, friend. The last letter that you wrote was on a blue piece of paper. That old feeling's back, the clouds are moving in. The beginning of the end is near. I feel love is faded into darkness. It seems I have no friend. I feel blues moving in. State of mind is desperate, and the hole that I'm sinking in gets deeper while I'm digging to get out. Oh, please give the right answer to the question I'm asking. Tell me you still love me, that would turn my world about. The last letter that you wrote was on a blue piece of paper. That old feeling's back, the clouds are moving in. The beginning of the end is near. I feel love is faded into darkness. It seems I have no friend.
All right. All right, gentlemen.
Hey, Nick.
I just had to come back out here, Dale.
I'm glad you did. I feel lonesome out here by myself.
Oh, you're so good to me. I just feel good around this, man. I first saw you when I was about 20 years old at Ontolani Park out in Pennsylvania.
I remember that.
That's your homeland there, York County,
well,
PA.
it's a little north for me, but it's pretty close,
Yeah, you're a York County person,
yeah,
right?
That's right.
That's right. Not everyone knows that you worked around Pennsylvania. And where did you play in that region, beyond the Bluegrass Parks?
Probably all over York County, and then later on Baltimore County, Maryland, and Baltimore City, you know, because there's a lot of work. And we got any folks from Baltimore? I bet we do.
Yeah, it's a little city near here. Yeah,
But, you know, in the late 50s and in the 60s, it was a big town for bluegrass. You know, Baltimore was. And so was Washington, D.C., but I think Baltimore was bigger.
Oh, yeah? Well, we're not going to start a fight here tonight about it. Let me ask you about that. Were there ever any little rough spots in some of those honky-tonks?
Oh, there was knives and guns, you know. It's a waterfront town, you know, and a lot of those merchant marines came in there. I don't want to down the merchant marines now, but they'd been out on the ocean for years, you know.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to have a good time with knives and guns, you know.
That's right. Now, as dangerous as it could be in those bluegrass clubs in Baltimore, you did a job. Not everybody knows that this man's been a sawyer man. He cut down a few trees in Pennsylvania over the years, didn't you?
I don't know if we should tell people about that.
Well, you cut down the right trees, I'm sure. I just want to check out your fingers is what I want to do.
Yeah, they're all here. Or, well, most of them are here.
Well, it's a great thing to know. I know you work so hard. You live around Nashville now. You don't live back in...
Yes, I live in Nashville. I'm a member of the Grand Ole Opry.
That's
right.
Actually,
I live in Hendersonville.
Okay, Hendersonville, yeah. That's like Baltimore versus Washington, I guess.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Now, you know, this is, I've got to ask you the question everyone's been asking me to ask you, and I've asked it before, and I'm surprised you didn't guess what it was. Your hair, Del.
Uh-oh.
That's not really a question. That's kind of an exclamation.
Well, you know,
but
Nick,
it deserved it. It's a work of art. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick, some of it's leaving.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, my wife tells me that.
Well, as it goes, would you give me some of it?
I can't see back here, but she says it's leaving, you know.
Oh, I think you got it pretty well covered. It's just beautiful. Come on, let's give it a round of applause. Yeah. Just had to do it to him. Just had to. The worst would be that he's an NEA Heritage Award winner, but we ain't going to say that, are we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we did. So, would y'all like to hear one more from Del and the guys?
Well,
you want to poll the band here, Del?
I don't know what to do now. What do you think? I know.
Rely on your sons.
Let's get these guys to play one. What about that? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Conference. You want to do it for sure? Okay, they got it. This one at Ronnie Road.
All right.
Yeah, I thought we'd surprise them, but we didn't, did we?
No. Make them welcome one more time, Del McCoury and family and friends. right, Dale McCoury, the brothers, and others. And don't forget Mother. I got to tell you, Dale has been down in New Orleans and playing at Preservation Hall, working it out with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, who are actually Jazz Masters awardees from the endowment. So it's a wonderful combination here, jazz and bluegrass, let me tell you. Great resonance across those lines of virtuosity and improvisation. And tonight, too, I get Texas Shorty and get to hear him. We heard the Afro-Cuban drumming, and a little later we're going to have some Ghanaian drumming. There are just touches all over, from the subcontinent to Hawaii and right back here to the stage, where we're about to meet a lady named Mary Jackson, who brings us the African material culture tradition associated with the Sea Islands down in South Carolina. Some people call it Gullah Country, right near Charleston. And she grew up in a family of basket makers and has taken the craft to new levels of aesthetic expression while still hanging down with the core tradition. Let's meet Mary Jackson. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Why don't we step back here behind our table and take a look at what you've got. These are not baskets here, are they?
Well, they will be a basket.
Okay.
They're not yet, but these are the natural seagrasses that I use for making my baskets. This one is Sweetgrass, which is the primary material that's used for over 300 years. It resembled what was used in Africa, but was found indigenous to the area along the coastline where I live. And it was adopted for these baskets and was never replaced with any other kind of fibers. This grass is another seagrass, which is called bulrush. It was predominantly used by men to make agricultural baskets. They made great big baskets for field work.
We always think of the Old Testament reference to Moses
and the bulrush baskets.
Yeah, it's nice to see it,
That's it
right up close like that.
Yes, and then palmetto, which is our state tree.
Palmetto State.
We have an abundance of palmetto, and this was also in Africa, but it was used as the binding material to bind all of the grasses together.
The wide strips.
The wide strips. And then there's pine needles, which was adopted in the 1930s by women who thought these baskets would have a different flair and some pattern. With sweetgrass, it was used to give another color, and I'll show you.
Yeah, tell us about these.
These are sweetgrass at the base, and then pine needles are laid over sweetgrass for color and design. In this tradition, pine needles was never used to make the basket itself, but it's used as for pattern. So it's overlaid over sweetgrass. And palmetto is stripped into strips, and it's used for the binding.
Yeah. Now, these look like carrying baskets. Huh?
They are. They are also baskets to be used for household use. Bread, fruits, or vegetables from the garden, and just eggs from the farmhouse, and for many functional use. The unique thing about these baskets also is that they're washable when they're soil.
Oh, nice.
Grasses are seagrass, so it grows in water, and water will not hurt them, and that's the proper care that they need.
Now, I know you've been very environmentally conscious and concerned, and sometimes there's been lack of access to the grasses for the makers, and you've worked on that sort of thing. But
Yes.
you've also gone out in the artistic direction as well. You've innovated and made new kinds of shapes. Well, tell us a little bit about what you've got here.
Well, I mastered the basic techniques and the traditional designs growing up from my mother and grandmother who taught me this art. And then one day I decided I wanted to introduce designs that no one had ever done before. So I started making these larger forms that's more contemporary in design, and it has taken it to a different level.
Now, what made you decide to do that?
Well, my mother said to me one day when I was a child, you should learn more than one thing. You should want to know how to do this because this is something that you can pass on to your children. And so it was during the summer months when school was closed as I was growing up. And my mother said I was around 4 years old when she started teaching me. So every summer, every day, this is what I did, practice making these baskets. And then I mastered all of the traditional designs and started doing my own. And so one day, when I grew up, I decided that I would make baskets, but I would take it to the museums. And I wanted them to be in museums all over the country and all over the world. And I'm very proud to say that it has reached new heights.
Yeah, and we're glad that you're here on the Heritage stage this evening.
Thank you.
Before you...
Thank you.
Before she goes, we would like to take you to her workshop. Let's look at this
studio.
film. Yeah, the studio right now. Let's see if we can roll the video.
My ancestors, who was brought from Africa as slaves, found these grasses resembled what they used in Africa. The slave owners came to realize that these baskets were very important because many did not have basket makers on their plantations, and they all needed containers to hold the grains or use in the rice field. And this is one of the reasons why this art form is still in place today, because they regarded my ancestors as the more valuable slaves, so they didn't separate the family. The technique is still very much the same. This art form involved the total family. Men traditionally harvest the grasses from the marshes and the swamps, and the women and girls made baskets. So families were always together working in this tradition. So I learned all of the traditional designs, basic techniques, and then I started designing forms that are different from the traditional ones. Contemporary designs with sweeping handles and flat baskets with grasses flowing from it. And I would kind of keep my design secret until after it was made, and then I would show it to everyone. And they were just amazed. And within a couple of years, I got an invitation to show my work to the Smithsonian Institution. And people started commissioning me. I was very happy about that. It's a feeling of my ancestors and how proud they would be if they were here. So from mother to daughter to granddaughter, it was passed down. And my mother taught me how to make them. Her mother taught her. My children, I've taught them as well. Put some sweetgrass in. You remember to open the roll up. There. What are you doing? Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Weaving is almost like penmanship, almost like a handwriting. And I've seen the similarities, my mother's work, my grandmother's work, and my great-grandmother's work.
There.
And that's kind of neat. It's little things like that that still encourages me to carry on the tradition.
I would like to someday, if I have my own children, to pass this down. I think it's important because if I don't do it, then I'd feel probably like I'm almost like breaking the tradition or something like that. So I think that's important to do.
Amazing. And we want to point out that is your daughter and granddaughter there.
My daughter, April, and my granddaughter, Amari. Amari was 7 years old when this was filmed.
My.
And April, she's not here, so I can tell her age. She was 37. She's now 40.
Well, thank you so much for placing the tradition in their hands. Mary Jackson. Beautiful work. Amazing work. Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you. Well, as we come to our final artist, I'd like to thank a few folks who make this Heritage Fellowship program possible. We want to acknowledge Darden Restaurants Foundation, the employees of Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, the Capitol Grill, Bahama Breeze, and Seasons 52 for their sponsorship. Makes me hungry reading that list. I love the look and sound of this place. It's so great to come up every year and do this at Strathmore Hall, and really appreciate it greatly. And of course, the production wouldn't happen without the National Council for the Traditional Arts. Yes, indeed. And the management of Madeline Remez, who seems to have brought her own personal fan club tonight, filling up most of the room. And the director of the concert has been Paul Douglas McNevich. He's out there somewhere. Thank you, PD. And finally, let's acknowledge the work of our sign language interpreter, Maiko Villanueva. Thanks to everybody. Yacub Addy comes from a family of drummers and spiritual leaders of the Ga ethnic group, Ghana in West Africa. Since 1982, he's led a music and dance group called Odada. Most recently, he's collaborated with Wynton Marsalis on 2 projects, one of which, Congo Square, premiered in New Orleans as a post-Katrina gift to the spiritual revival of the city. I was there for that show. It was on Congo Square, right outside the French Quarter. And I'll tell you, it really, really boosted spirits in the city at the time. The spirits of the people in attendance, and I'm sure all the spirits on Congo Square. And we thank him greatly for that. He's been doing great performance work for many, many years. Let's bring out Yacub Addy. All right. Yacub, I know you're a man of few words, but would you just say hello? I love your voice. He's speechless now.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'd like to have him running American Roots, and I can't do what he does, so I better stick to my side. But you do sound great. Just great to hear you speak about things.
What do I want to say?
How about you play some great music for us? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and we've got okay. We have a piece that comes from your father, Ga Akong, medicine, rhythm, and dance.
That's right.
Yeah, so we'll hear that. Okay.
And then after that.
Yeah, after that? You want to say it? You want me to say it?
You say it.
Okay. We've got a piece called Bedoué, which is, did I get it right?
Bedouin, yes.
Bedouin, okay, yes. Close. And it's the blues of an orphan girl struggling with life, and it's inspired by a Ga folk song.
That's right.
And you arranged this. Yacub Addy, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause here. And listen up. As we take it home, you will not be disappointed.
so bran conform if my pombe yo say ye. Me free my pombe ye. Me free my pombe ye. O say ye. Thank you.
Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué.
Aje, I was a Jimmy Benyan Betchay Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué. What day? Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué. I was a Jimmy. I was a Jimmy Benyan Betchay Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué. Bedoué, Yanume, Aebo, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué. Wama was a Jimmy Benyan Betchay Bedoué, Yahweh. Bedoué, Yahweh, Bedoué, Yahweh. Aja was a Jimmy. Was a Jimmy, Ache Yahweh Bedoué, Kono Koe, Yahweh Bedoué, Kono Koe, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Nekono Komae, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Awa Usako Chili, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Ishika Fetai, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Awa Kono Koe, Bedoué, Yahweh Bedoué, Kenya Kono Koe, Bedoué, Ah, Yahweh Bedoué. Kili.
Yacub Addy, Odada, and from Rockwall, Texas, Jim Chancellor, Texas Shorty. From Honolulu, Hawaii, Gladys Kukana Grace. From Johns Island, South Carolina, Mary Jackson. From Hendersonville, Tennessee, Del McCoury. From Mastic, New York, Kamala Lakshmi Narayanan. From Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, Mike Rafferty. From Miami, Florida, Ezequiel Torres.
Yeah.
From Urbana, Illinois, Judith McCulloh. And from Latham, New York, Yacub Addy. The 2010 NEA National Heritage Fellows. Good night and safe travels.